Here are 5 things you shouldn't do in Japan when eating out in public. I feel like it's going to be too hot. Number 1, don't put your chopsticks directly into your rice and leave them there. This is actually a custom that is reserved for funerals in Japan, and the chopsticks represent a bridge between this world and the next. So I'm not going to do that because it's considered bad luck, but the next one's a little bit less intense. Which is number 2, don't walk and eat. I'm going to go buy a snack just for you guys so that I can show you what you're supposed to do instead. Aren't I generous? I knew exactly what I wanted before I even came in. So at first this one really confused me because there are convenience stores everywhere in Japan, but no one seems to be eating whilst they're walking. And basically it's just because you don't want to bash into people with your food, you don't want to make a mess, and you are just doing it as a courtesy to others. So you've got to stand outside the front of the convenience store or sit inside if they have seats. And if you can't find a place to stand outside or a place to sit outside, then you've just got to take it and find a place where you can. I think I'm safe. Number 3, don't underestimate the sheer number of food options that there are in train stations in Japan. This is particularly true of the big cities, especially places like Tokyo. I'm standing right in front of Tokyo Station here, and there are over 100 restaurants in just one part of the station, and I've never been let down by any of these kind of restaurants in the station. So if you don't really know where to go and you're just wandering around, then head for one of the big stations and you'll find somewhere to go. But what if you brought a snack with you and you have nowhere to stand, nowhere to sit, and the only place that you have any kind of break is when you're in the station or when you're going on a train? Can you eat it then? Not really, because this is rule number 4, don't eat or drink on the train. I have definitely seen people do it and I have done it myself, but it's the same concept as that you're going to get in the way of people. You don't want to make a mess, you don't want to make loud noises, and you don't want to make a smell. So basically you shouldn't unless you're dying of hunger or it's a very, very uncrowded train. And if it's really hot, then a sip of water is not going to matter, but just try not to be in the way of people. Shibuya is actually one of my least favorite places to come these days. It's so crowded. Number 5, when you've got a drink, don't say chin chin. Chin chin in Japan means something very different. It means a guy's... I think you know what I mean. So unless you want people to laugh, then it's best not to say chin chin. It's best to say cheers or kanpai. Kanpai. I totally don't feel like a sad loner standing in the middle of Shibuya by myself drinking a beer. Actually, I'd take that back. It's kind of refreshing. Also, you're allowed to drink on the streets of Japan, even though you're not allowed to walk and drink. And one bonus tip, don't underestimate the nomi hodai, which means all you can drink, because that stuff is, it's good. Yeah. Okay. Now I gotta get these shoes off.